More exemptions have been announced for higher ethanol fuel. You don't have to see this as a relief. You have to see this that how India is preparing for its coming up after E20 era. And this is how India is going to reduce not just import dependency but also emerge self-sufficient on its own. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to understand that these export duty cuts that have been given for higher ethanol fuels as compared to E20, why this has been strategically placed at this time, where are we looking in terms of the ethanol fuel economy, what exactly do we mean by ethanol, what is ethanol blending, and so much more. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly has been announced. So Centre has done what? Any other ethanol blended fuel above E20 such as E22, E25, E27, E30, all of these petrol blends of ethanol, they have been exempted from Central Excise Duty. Now this has been done just after the new BIS fuel standards, especially for higher ethanol, all of these blends was announced. So this is showing that how India is getting ready, how India is getting prepared to move beyond E20 blending target and convert it towards the economy where it starts moving. Now this is not the only effort that the central government has taken. If you look at the March of this very year, the excise duty was reduced from 21.90 per litre to 11.90 per litre. But now it has been done that it will be nil. Now to understand this better, all of this, what does it mean, how does it help? Let us start from the scratch with understanding that what exactly is ethanol, how it comes into use as a fuel. When we are talking about ethanol, the chemical name ethyl alcohol C2H5OH is the formula. As of now, ethanol happens to be one of the most important biofuels which are present today. And this is produced using sugar. Natural fermentation is done. For example, if you are using sugar-based crops such as crops, rice, natural fermentation is done and ethyl alcohol is produced. It is also produced through proper industrialized methods as well. Now, when ethanol is present, what is ethanol blending? What we are doing is, let's just say there is petrol. What we are doing to petrol, we are adding some ethanol to it. So let's just say if there are 100 parts of petrol present, what we are doing, we are saying, okay, let's keep 80 as the petrol and let's put 10 of ethanol. That is what is exactly is ethanol blending. The practice of mixing ethanol with petrol so as to reduce the dependence that we have of buying this from outside our country is the ethanol blending process. Now, why are we doing this? What is the need to focus on ethanol and its blending? Because this is something that is not only challenging research-wise, technology-wise, infrastructure-wise, change-wise, but at the same time, this is something altogether new that needs to be put in force across the economy. So why are we pushing so much for this? We are pushing so much for this because we are an import dependent country when it comes to energy, especially when we are talking about crude oil. 80 to 85% of dependence, and Russia-Ukraine war, Iran war, all of these have shown whenever there is a global shock, this import dependency becomes a huge pain. So we want some relief, and we don't want a short-term relief, we want a permanent relief. That is why we are focusing on cutting down the imports as much as possible. Now this is the biggest point for bringing in ethanol blending. But when we are looking at it, it also helps us in terms of increasing the efficiency. It is not just more efficient, but it is comparatively cheaper. The combustion which is here is complete. It is comparatively a better and cleaner fuel. So the environment also will be benefited, the government will also be benefited, you will also be benefited, and farmers, the farm residue which can be used for production of ethanol, that means farmers' income will also be supported. So it is not just about energy security, it is about sustainability as well, and also how we can support our primary sector, our farmers. So this seems like that ethanol blending is something that can help us the long way, and this has been understood and realized. That is why when we look towards the transition across the years, 2003 itself, ethanol blended petrol program was launched when we were looking only at the blend of 5%. That means 5 parts of ethanol and 95 parts of petrol. But there was very limited progress up and until 2013-16. Then 2018, the push was revived for the EBP program, and the target was raised from 5% blend to 10% blend. Now by 2022 itself, the 20% target was advanced and it was put for 2025, and surprisingly the 20% ethanol petrol was achieved last year itself. India has already reached around 12 to 15% of blending, and this ethanol blending was extended not just to roadways but aviation as well, because government allows blending in aviation turbine fuel. Apart from that, don't miss out on another big milestone that we have to notice. That is for 2018 itself, where national policy for biofuels was also announced. Government has also taken multiple steps, and you can see that how ethanol blending in petrol has increased over years. So this shows importantly over last 2 decades that how ethanol blending has been focused on, and it has delivered also. And as we have discussed that how it benefits out, this is where this progress matters a lot. Apart from that, if you are looking at ethanol blending as of now, as per the latest data, ethanol blending stands at 17.98%, but this needs to be understood as an example of a policy driven energy transition and also import substitution that is unfolding. So in this context, now that we have understood the basic framework, let us move to the higher ethanol fuels with which we started the conversation. We started the conversation that the Central Excise Duty on the higher ethanol fuels have been cut and made zero. What are higher ethanol fuels? When we are talking about higher ethanol fuels, we are talking about ethanol fuels from E20 and above. Recently, there has been launch of E85 as well by Hardeep Singh Puri, where we see that E85 variant of fuel is available, but it will be usable only for the flexi fuel vehicles. That means these vehicles which will be easily be able to operate on E20 and as well as E85. Now these variations exist so as to ensure the compatibility. Depending on their usage, the variant of fuel can be used. And this is what the categories that we are talking about, for which government has made the Central Excise Duty zero. So all of this seems like a good way to go from import dependence to energy self-reliance, but we need to look at the challenges in front of us as well. Because yes, ethanol is going to solve a lot of problems for us, but is higher ethanol going to be panache for all of this? Because when we are looking at vehicle compatibility, we see that older vehicles will not be able to use this higher blends which are present. Then it will not only generate garbage, this will not only lead to accumulation of it, but at the same time, this will be a liability. Another thing that we need to understand that yes, we are talking about how ethanol blends are cleaner, but we have to look at the facts such as that ethanol has lower energy density and slight reduction in mileage is possible because of that. So this is where consumers will take a hit, and the thing we are talking about, if we are looking at E20 which has 20 parts of ethanol and the mileage has reduced, we have to fuel more the car, then how does it advantage the consumer in the longer run? And most importantly, the food versus fuel debate as well. Because if the sugar based crops will be moved towards the production of ethanol, then where will be the food security addressed? So in this context, many things needed to be addressed from the government end, such as water stress which is being created because sugarcane is a highly water intensive crop. This can worsen the groundwater situation, especially in some states, and most importantly, the infrastructure that needs to be generated. Let's just say we do have the vehicles which can use the higher ethanol blends, but where is this storage going to come from? Where is the fueling going to be done? And how this is going to materialize? What are your thoughts thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. That was all. Thank you so much.